got a fun review today as we're discussing Transformers Rise of the Beast. Honestly, not gonna lie, I have been super excited for Rise of the Beast because I am a child of the 90s as far as Transformers go. I do love the franchise as a whole now, but Beast Wars, I grew up loving the Maximals and the Predacons. So, of course, seeing these characters in live action, I'm going to be even more excited to see. Set in the 1990s, the war rages on between the Autobots and the Decepticons, with more humans swept up into the conflict, but also new factions of Transformers join the fight, known as the Maximals and the Terrorcons. As many fans of the Transformers franchise know, the live-action films at large have been very hit or miss. There have been some gems amongst the bunch, but it's a pretty rocky road. But Bumblebee, I think, really restored a lot of faith in the franchise at large and the potential where we could go with these films with different directions behind them. And while I don't think Rise of the Beast is as great as Bumblebee, it does lay a solid foundation for some exciting potential future installments in the franchise. This film really hits the ground running when it comes to showcasing an exciting setup for a story. In essence, this almost feels like a story that feels ripped right out of the animated series, being able to have a lot of fun with the characters on this journey, but still keeping the stakes high throughout because there's an impending doom on the horizon. The biggest strength I have to say for Rise of the Beast is the main reason that we do come to these Transformers films, and it's the Transformers action. I've always loved the action in these Transformers films, but I love the way that Stephen Cable Jr. approaches the action in Rise of the Beast, showcasing these larger-than-life characters in this giant open setting, and just allowing us to not just see what's going on, but these massive onslaughts of enemies, whether it's Autobots, Maximals, Terrorcons. The third act of this film alone easily is one of the coolest action sequences I've ever seen in a live-action Transformers film. Just due to the cool, over-the-top dynamic action spectacle, but there's a lot of action pretty much all throughout the movie. I would say maybe the middle portion of the movie, things slow down a bit, and that is kind of where the movie drags, but other than the middle of the movie, there is just non-stop Transformers action from start to finish. As a massive fan of Beast Wars, while also just loving Transformers at large, I left the film extremely satisfied with these Transformers Maximal moments. I mean, how can you not be hyped? Especially because you have moments like Optimus Primal shouting "Maximize," much like in the TV show. Despite the constant danger throughout the entire film's runtime, the film still manages to have a ton of hard and all-around fun, and it isn't afraid to throw in some cheesy one-liners here and there, mostly from Mirage and Anthony Ramos' character, especially when they're together. It's going to be very interesting seeing the reception from Mirage, because I think a lot of it does hinge on how you feel about Pete Davidson, because for the most part, Mirage pretty much is just Pete Davidson as a Transformer. He has that exact same funny, over-the-top, goofy personality, but if you don't like Pete Davidson, I think you're going to find a lot of his moments cringe. But for me, as someone who actually doesn't mind Pete Davidson all that much, a lot of his sequences in this, I would argue, are kind of scene-stealing moments. He has a handful of exciting action sequences, has some of the funniest laughs in the entire film, and I love the dynamic that's built up between him and Anthony Ramos' character, because in essence, it pretty much is the exact same kind of dynamic that we've seen in previous Transformers film, whether it be Charlie and Bumblebee or Sam and Bumblebee. It's like the exact same dynamic. Now it's just Mirage and Anthony Ramos. Even though I would argue that Mirage is kind of the main Autobot that gets a lot of the screen time, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee still get tons of epic moments for Transformers fans to get hype over. Optimus Prime continues to have some great one-liners, has epic action sequences, and Bumblebee, I would say, has probably one of the coolest openings to a fight in any of the Transformers films in here. Now let's delve into what we're all excited about for Rise of the Beast, and that is the addition of the Maximals into the narrative, and the Terrorcons too, but let's be real, we're all here for the Maximals pretty much. I think they work perfectly here in the narrative they're trying to form in this. They're integrated seamlessly into the conflict while also adding some great new layers to this ongoing battle between both sides in the war, while also allowing some of these Autobots to soften up to humans outside of Bumblebee, because we kind of start off in a place here where Optimus Prime really is not a big fan of humans, and I like how characters like Optimus Primal are able to get through to Optimus Prime that not all humans are bad. Out of all the Maximals in this, Optimus Primal and Airazor are the big major standouts of the bunch. Both of them get the most screen time, most to do, and Ron Perlman and Michelle Yeoh are just excellent as the voice cast. It is kind of disappointing though that Cheetor and Rhinox really weren't given that much to do. I mean, they don't even have like any lines really. Cheetor gets maybe one or two lines, and I couldn't remember for the life of me after the movie if Rhinox spoke at all. While I usually am expecting Megatron to be the big bad in Transformers movies, I do commend them for using someone someone else once again, this time being Scourge, as I found him to be an extremely menacing, imposing villain in this, partially due to the fact probably he's voiced by Peter Dinklage, but I thought he was a great villain, probably one of the better villains in the Transformers films, to be honest. Even if technically Scourge and the other two Terracons with him are working under Unicron in this, and I've always loved Unicron as a character. I think he's one of the coolest Transformers characters around. I mean, the fact he's a Transformer that turns into a planet, how can you not find something like that amazing and scary? And you do get to see in some of the scenes in Rise of the Beast just how scary a live-action interpretation of Unicron can be, and we don't get a whole lot of him though. However, I can definitely see him coming back in some shape or form in the future, depending on where we go with the franchise. Even if many of us necessarily don't go into these Transformers movies for the human characters, and in some cases the human characters ruin the movies for us, I actually found the characters in this to be quite likable, particularly Anthony Ramos. For me, he kind of carried a lot of this movie on his shoulders because you feel for his character and the arc he goes on, because he's trying to do whatever he can to help out his sick younger brother, no matter what. And Dominique Fishback, I kind of feel bad for her because I think she is such an excellent actress, especially in things like Swarm or Judas and the Black Messiah. This role does not really showcase her full potential. Her acting honestly isn't the issue. I think she's still a great actress with what's given to her, but the dialogue that she's given, the majority of it is just info dumping. She's asking questions so the audience can understand things that are going on in the story, and she's explaining things in the context of the story because she's the one figuring out everything across the journey, because Anthony Ramos doesn't know how to do anything. He's pretty much the brawn of the story and she's the brains, because without her, they pretty much would have not been able to figure out anything or find the object that's the source of the main conflict of the movie, which also is kind of irritating to me. That has become also a staple in the Transformers franchise, how there's always some mystical object that everyone is trying to find, and it's a trope that I'm honestly kind of tired of with these Transformers movies, because once again, there's a key in this that everybody's trying to figure out and find where it is, and same with the beam in the sky. I thought we moved past the giant beam in the sky, but there's somehow in 2023 another big action movie with a giant beam in the sky in the third act. But yeah, overall, I had a very fun time with Transformers Rise of the Beast. I think it's a very solid Transformers film. It is great seeing the Maximals on screen. I would love to see them continue to get more spotlight. There is definitely a future for the franchise, what we set up at the end of this film, and I am down for where we go if we continue to build upon it like we have done with Bumblebee and now this film. But now I've heard my thoughts on Transformers Rise of the Beast. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. What did you think of the film once you get a chance to check it out? Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Share your thoughts down below in the comment section. It's part of the fun. Have the conversation with you guys in the comment section down below. Thank you guys. As always, chat videos. I always do appreciate it. Be sure to like on the video and also subscribe to the channel to update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. For next time, see you guys later.